Hi, I'm Sami Siddiqui. I'm a trading analyst. A trading analyst really has to monitor the wholesale energy markets with a view to create analysis and reports for our clients, particularly around market insight. There is also an aspect towards purchasing energy for those clients on flexible purchasing contracts. A flexible purchasing contract is when you don't buy the wholesale aspect to your energy. So there's wholesale and non-wholesale. A lot of clients, particularly bigger ones, they choose to, if the market price is high, just fix the non-wholesale aspect and then wait for a dip in the market before buying the wholesale aspect, which is where we come in. My carbon emission would probably be, I don't know the difference between net zero and carbon neutral until quite recently. Turns out while they are, well, I used to think they were synonyms, but while they're very similar, there is a key difference around carbon offsetting mainly on the carbon neutral side. I think the main stumbling block really to people asking for help around net zero is maybe not embarrassment, but there is definitely a feeling of, I should know this. And I get that too, especially given that I work for an energy consultancy. It's definitely quite difficult for those, particularly if they don't know where to look. You go online, you type in net zero and like millions and millions of results come back. It's hard to pinpoint the correct ones because it's a collective issue. We all live on the same planet. For me personally, I think not knowing something and pushing it under the carpet, it's not going to make it go away. It's not going to make the net zero by 2050 target like disappear or anything. So I think the sooner people recognise that and acknowledge it, the quicker they can learn and the quicker they can get that giddy up on the net zero pathway. I think it is possible that people out there are maybe paralysed by choice when it comes to how much information out there really is to do with net zero. I think we've seen, especially with the last couple of years of market volatility, it is something that you see on your front pages. So it's not interesting until it really is. I definitely think certain organisations set up and took notice post 2022. I think before it was probably a case of you renew, same supplier, similar price, not much changes contract to contract, but then definitely when you're seeing your prices double, treble, a lot of clients probably couldn't afford to bear. Post 2022, it's definitely a bit higher on a lot of people's agenda. I think organisations really just need to know what their current situation is. Even if you haven't actively made any steps towards net zero, perhaps you're on a green contract, perhaps somewhere in your supply chain there are companies that are taking steps, and that will help you to scope through emissions further down the line. I think it's important to just do an energy audit and just knowing exactly where your strengths are, where your weaknesses are before you make any quick decisions. They need to be asking about their energy procurement first and foremost. How does it align perhaps with our net zero strategy? Because while it might be a little bit cheaper to go on a non-renewable tariff now, if you lock that in for 4 or 5 years, down the line you might be looking at having to make a drastic switch. So I think it's definitely important to take a forward look with net zero in mind, even if it doesn't feel directly related to at the moment.